and welcome back to Leonard Creek Farm. Alrighty guys, as you all will see from hopefully this previous video, or the previous video I posted from yesterday, we are out at the farm after a week of vacation, and so we're going to get back into the grind of things. I was up in the garden yesterday. Today we're going to do some farm chores. I've got some things that I need to get figured out, and I want to show you all what I got the other day. Alrighty, first things first, Lakin's going to run Wilbur out on the grass so he can have his grass time. While we were gone on vacation, he had to stay in the barn, and so he's loving being out on the grass. Alright guys, so here lately I've just been doing the feed, getting all the feeds ready at one time. Used to before I would feed the goats, and then I'd feed the rabbit, and then I'd feed the chicken. I still kind of do it like that, but I'll go ahead and get all the feed ready. Today the chickens have got some tomatoes to go with their feed. I counted the chickens the other day, and I'm up to, I think, 21 or 22 chickens. We did lose a few babies, I believe, to hawks. They've been snatching my babies up, and so I've lost 2 or 3 of the ones that aren't quite bitty size, and they're still a little. And so I've died down some out of the babies that are out of ginger. But I'm at 21 chickens. Today they're going to get a little less feed than what they usually get. I usually do the cracked corn and let me see, the cracked corn and then the laying pellets, and they get 1.5 pounds of the laying pellets and then 1 pound of the cracked corn. But today I'm just going to do, I need to top that pound off. I'm just going to do 1 pound of the layer, and then do maybe 1/2 pound of the cracked corn with the tomatoes. Now, my chickens are, they're waiting on me. I've got 1, 2, 3 that have flew out of the coop area now. They come out and wait on me to make their feed now. This is Miss Raven. That's Miss Topper, and then the big rooster, I've changed his name to Colonel Sanders because he's black and white. But the chickens are primarily free range now. Well, they are free range. They can get out and do as they please now, and so that's why I'm losing some to hawks, because they are out 24/7. Their door is open. The little hole, you all have seen me uncover it and cover it before. It's just healthier for them to be free range, but if you are going to free range your birds, you're going to have to be willing to maybe lose a few. I mean, it's unfortunate, you know, but it's a healthier option for them. And so they are free range. They do get chicken garden scraps and kitchen scraps, but I also give them a layer a pellet and the laying mash. And so I put 1 pound in here of the pellets. Let me go over here and I'll grab us the cracked corn mash, and we'll get them about 1/2 pound of that. I usually mix it up, but I'm not going to stick my hand down in them rotten tomatoes. And Miss Reagan is a-waiting on it. Here, I'll sit it down. Let's see if we can see her eat. Next, we're going to do, see, they're already coming. Feed them and they will come. Next, we're going to do the goats. We are up to 7 pounds out in the main area out here. Now, this is something I got to think about today. We had a situation the other day where the baby buck, I caught the baby buck trying to breed. He is not physically able to breed properly, without me saying too much. He's not physically able to breed properly yet, but he is working on it. He's getting close to it. So today I need to really think about what I'm going to do with him. I haven't posted him for sale yet, but he is ready to go. She's pretty much weaned him completely down. He maybe gets a little milk here and there from her, but he's weaned completely down. You can see the pecking order that's going on right here. Miss Raven is running Colonel Sanders and Miss Topper off because she is the older hen. We've also got one of Andy's stags running around out here, but she is higher on the pecking order, and so she's eating it up. But anyways, we're up to 7 pounds out here, so we're going to go ahead and get the goat feed. I'm going to go ahead and put a little mineral in here. I've talked about it before, but for those of you who are new to my channel, instead of putting loose mineral out free choice, I put it on the feed. I found that they won't eat it. Sorry, Andy's getting the old truck running. I found that they won't eat it free choice, that it'll waste before they eat it. And so I go ahead and mix it in their feed, and if they don't need it, they won't eat it. If they need it, they will. Alright, so next on the list of feed that needs to go out here is Miss Clover's feed. She's our Flemish Giant Rabbit. And she gets, let's see, about 1/4 of a cup. And I feed her a little bit extra because she is our brood rabbit. She's given us a few clutches of babies, a few litters, of babies, and so I want to build her back up. We're going to discuss it a little bit later, but I do plan on breeding her again this fall, and so I want to make sure that she's good and healthy and has a good, healthy weight. None of my rabbits, though, if you look at them, are starved to death. They're all fat. I probably overfeed, but I want healthy animals. I don't want no skinny animals running around here on the farm, and so we probably overfeed a lot, but I'd rather overfeed than underfeed. She gets pellets. She gets alfalfa pellets. And then I come over here to the hay. And she gets a good little handful of hay. With that, we've got all our feed situated, and we're going to go out here and go ahead and start with the goats. We'll feed the goats, we'll feed the chickens, and we'll feed the rabbits. Alright, while the goats are distracted and eating, I don't have much time, so I usually try to rush in here pretty quick. We want to get that gate open, and we'll go ahead and feed the chickens and the rabbit. So we got our chicken feed, put a rabbit feed on top, and go ahead and start calling the chickens, because the ones that are out will need to come in. Look at them running. Miss Raven's hopping in. They won't go in when I'm standing in front of the door. Hopefully they'll get situated here in a second and get in. Koa's blocking them. Come here, Koa. Come got some babies coming in. There we go. Come on. Oh, bud, you don't want that. Okay. Now the chickens have their feed, we'll feed the rabbit. I said rabbit, but I just mean rabbit. There's only one out here. This was the very first kennel we ever built. It houses our gray rabbit. She's a Flemish giant. And she's a big girl. And her name is Miss Clover. I'll show you. This is the start, the very beginning of our rabbits right here. This is Miss Clover. She is our female rabbit. We also have our male Rover. And she's shedding right now, so she looks pretty rough. But she's a big old girl. She's about 15 pounds, maybe give or take some. And she's the mama to all of the rabbits we have here, besides the breeder male. She don't want pets today. She's a little more wild than her babies, obviously, because we've handled all the babies. She can be handled, but she's grumpy today, and so I'm going to leave her be. For whatever reason, she's a lot more nicer. When I had babies in there, you would think that she'd be more aggressive, but she's not. She lets me handle her babies, and lets me handle her with pretty much ease when she's got babies in there. But we're not going to bother her today. And so everything has eaten out here, so we need to go ahead and probably fill up some water. But we'll get to cracking. Alright guys, I got to looking at Miss Nala here, and she looks like she needs a good worming. She's dropped a little weight, I guess, since we've been gone, because she was not like that beforehand. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all how we worm. I'll go ahead and check everybody else's eyes while I'm at it. Besides the buck, I might need help checking the buck or worming the buck. But we'll go ahead and get Nala situated and then go through everybody else. Alright y'all, I checked Miss Nala's eyes and she's pretty anemic, which means that she has a heavy worm load. So I'm going to go ahead and worm her. I'm going to double worm her today. And then I will reworm her. If I'm not mistaken, it's 10 days later. And so she will get the valbazen and the noromectin, which is like ivermectin, along with B-complex. I give it all orally, but you got to pull it up through the syringe. So I'm going to go ahead and get two I'm going to go ahead and get 2 ml of the B-complex. These are 1 ml measures, so I'm going to have to do 2 of these. I don't know where my big syringes are. Somehow we're dwindling down on big syringes. I think we just leave them sitting. Go ahead and get her another ml of this. Nala's pretty good about taking medicine, so I say that, and she'll probably be horrible today. And like I said, I just give this orally, and so I'm going to take these off and sit them in a safe spot. So I got 2 ml of that. I'm going to do 2 ml of this. I'm hoping I can find a bigger syringe, because I don't want to carry a bunch of syringes out there. Looks like all that's in here, besides this one, and I need it for the valbazen. She is right at 120 pounds, and so she will get 5 ml of the valbazen. I pulled up a little more than what I needed to. She'll get 5 ml of the valbazen, and then I need to do the Noramectin. It calls for, on the bottle, it calls for 1 ml, but she's pretty pale, which is odd because she usually doesn't have to be wormed, but since she's had the baby, it's kind of dwindled her immune system down. And so I have had to worm her after she had the baby, and then I've had to worm her one more time, and which is not typical for her. But it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and try to get her back to right as rain. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 ml of this as well. It takes a lot out of you to have a baby, and these goats go through a lot. We also live in a real wet area, real damp area. For those of you that have followed us for any amount of time, know that we live kind of in like a swampy, wet area around here, and so we do have to worm a lot more than somebody that is in more of a dry area. The weather is changing too. We're going into fall. And so it's going to be even more wet around here than usual. Okay, so I went ahead. It seems like a lot because I've got a bunch of syringes, but she's getting 2 ml of the Noramectin. She's getting 5 ml of the Valbazen, and then 2 ml of the vitamin B complex. Anytime I give a wormer, I go ahead and give them vitamin B complex. It gives them a boost. It helps them. I'm going to go ahead. I probably won't show it, but I'm going to go ahead and check, or I might show me checking the goats, but I'm probably not worming them because it's hard to do. It's hard to worm a goat and hold the camera. And so I'm going to go ahead and check everybody else and see who else needs wormed. I try not to, when we first started out, we just wormed the whole herd because we didn't know no better. But now I worm who needs wormed. I don't worm everybody. But when we first started out, we were losing a lot of goats, and we didn't really understand the concept of checking goats for worms. I have done a video on that. I think it's what I wish I knew before I bought goats or started a goat farm. I can't remember exactly what the video is. But I talk about checking for matcha score, and that's how I knew that Nala needed it. I can look at her and tell from the outside that she needs wormed, but the eye will tell on them. It'll tell how bad their anemia is, and she is white, so she's pretty bad anemic. I'll probably add red cell to the feed as well. I didn't show it, but today I did add the mineral and the red cell to the feed. And she's been licking it up, so she really needs the iron and copper. So we're gonna go ahead and give her this. She's coming over here to me, so let's see if we can get her situated. Come here, Nala. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. She's an easy one to worm. She'll even bite on the thing to get it, but some of them are a lot harder than her. That's a demonstration of goat being easy to get. She's eating a feather right now. She just ate a chicken feather. I'm going to go ahead and check baby here too. He looks good from the outside, but we'll go ahead and check him, and I'll demonstrate how we do it here. So here's the baby, and what you do is you push and pull, and his Framacha looks good. It looks great. So Mama's just losing some energy. As you can see right right through there. She wasn't like that. She wasn't sunk in before we left. But these things happen. Everybody else looks good. Maybe Ede might need worm just from looking at her from the outside. But we're going to go ahead and check everybody. Miss Camy's back here. I'm going to go ahead and grab her before she runs off. She's running off. Miss Camy does need worms, so I went ahead and put her down here. I'm going to go up there, try to avoid the buck, and go up there and check Baby Bop and Edie. And if they need worms, I'll bring them down. Alrighty, guys. I'm out of breath because I just ran up there. We're in some goats down. Edie's come in here. Edie's good. She don't need worms. I might go ahead and get a syringe full of B-complex for her, though. It's not going to hurt them to give them B-complex. If anything, it helps them. Helps them absorb their minerals a lot better. Just makes them healthier overall. And so, Bop's good. Edie's good. The buck needs worms. I'm going to leave him up there, though. For those of you that don't know, he is aggressive. And so, I try to limit my amount of time that I'm exposed to him. I will worm him, but try to I'll try to get the other girl's worm first so he's not chasing after me. So I'm going to go ahead and the same thing I did for Nala, I'm going to do for Camy. She is pale as well. So 5 ml of the Valbazin, 2 ml of the B-complex, 2 ml of the Noromectin. While I'm getting the second dosage ready for, or the next dosage ready for Camy, I want to go ahead and preface this video by saying I am not a vet. Do not claim to be a vet. If you don't agree with how I'm doing this, that's fine. We do what works and what's recommended per our vet, what our vet says. And so this is how we do it. I know when it comes to vaccinations and worms and stuff like that, people get all wormers and stuff, people get all tore up. We're not an all natural farm, so we do use medications and wormers. This is black. Somebody, the last person that used this, did not clean out the B12 that was in it. And so it turned the medicine, but it's not supposed to look like that. It's alright. I've seen the B12 up here. I knew that it had B12 in it. I try to clean the syringes out when we're done with them, but it don't always happen, and I'm not the only one that uses these, so my husband uses them to worm his animals as well. So this dosage is for Camy. She is anemic as well. If I could find my bigger syringe, I wouldn't have to pull it up in these 1 ml syringes, but it is what it is. So I'm giving her 2 ml as well. Come on out. There we go. I'm giving her 2 ml as well of the Noromectin. Making sure I'm putting my lid on them. I'm pulling these lids off, like I said, because I'm giving it orally. Doing 5 ml, actually 6, because she's a bigger dog. She's about 150 pounds. I'm doing 6 ml of the We're getting low. I'm having to see how much I can pull up of the Valbazen. Got a little more than I needed. We need 6 ml. 6 ml of the Valbazen. And since that had B12 in it, I'm just going to do, since it had B12 mixed in with it, I'm just going to do 1 ml of the B complex. If you have goats, anytime you give them any medication, I recommend, I'm not a vet, but I recommend giving them B complex because it helps them. In general, it helps them. So, anyways, let's go get Cami wormed. She's not as easy to worm as Nala, her daughter. She wants to jerk her head around and stuff. And so, we'll see how well she does for me. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the camera on, and you can see how well she does and how well she don't. Well, it'll stick. Quit it. I'm sorry. She hates B12. Alright, y'all seen it. Her daughter will eat the syringe trying to get it in, and she will gag them up as you're trying to get it in. So, 2 different mentalities. Alright, the last one left is the buck. Hopefully I can get him by myself. I might have to have Andy help me. We'll see what kind of mood he's in today. But he's hard to get. And so I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off because it might take a good hot minute to even get him caught up. Something else I want to add to that I didn't say before, it's recommended to do fecals before you worm your goats. But as much as we have to worm, unfortunately, for our area, it's a couple times a year. It would be a lot to have a vet do fecals on our goats. And so we do, I do two different wormers, as you all seen. They're both higher class wormers, so they'll take care of, typically, they'll take care of what I need taken care of. So while I'm getting his medicine ready for his worming, I wanted to go ahead and add that you do, it is recommended to go ahead and do a fecal before you worm a goat. Alright, I got the buck done. He's mad at me, but I got him done. And so we're going to get these critters some hay and then water the rest of everything in here. That bucket needs water. The chicken's water's good. I filled it up yesterday. And Miss Clover needs some fresh water. Something else I want to add, I went ahead and got everybody done here and put my wormer up. But as soon as I get done with wormer, I have a horrible memory, and some of you I'm sure do too. I get on my phone after I've wormed them. I mark who I've wormed in my calendar on my phone and how much I've given them. That way I know who was wormed last, how much they got, all that business. So this time I wormed Nala, Cami, and the buck. They all got 2 cc's of the B complex. They got 2 cc's of the noromectin, and they got Nala got 5 cc's of the valbazen, and the buck and Cami got 6. And so I need to put that in my calendar every time I worm, because if I don't, I'll forget. And so I do recommend you all do that. Alright guys, we got the wormer situated, and so next what we're going to do is, hey everybody out here, everybody gets a flake of hay. Everybody gets a flake of hay. They also have, like I said, they get their grain, and then they have access to both of the pastures here, and they eat grass. They eat more hay than they eat grass. They don't keep the grass as mowed down as I would like them to, but I also give them a lot of hay. And so we do 2 flakes down here, 2 flakes in the middle, and then 2 flakes on the far end. I've got, how many goats do I have in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't even know how many goats I had. I've got 6 goats in there, and so everybody gets a flake. And so we've got our hay here. I'm going to go ahead and grab 6 flakes and then put them in the hay feeder. Alright, the goat's feed is done. The chicken's feed is done. Their water's good. I still have to get their eggs. The rabbit is done. I still have to give her water. And I still got to get the goat's water. But I'm going to go on and move on to the surprise. Some of you might have seen it in the short. Some of you might not have. But I'm going to go ahead and grab something for the surprise that I have, and see if y'all can guess what it is. Can you all guess what I've got? I'm going to go ahead and grab something else. What I got is in quarantine right now, and I'm going ahead and giving it prevention for coccidiosis, so that might give it away right there. Go ahead and doing prevention for coccidiosis, and we're grabbing this feed. Whatever it is, might not need this feed because I filled it all the way up yesterday, but we're going to check. Alright, so the place where I'm at and the sounds in the background might give it away as to what I got. I'm going to go ahead and grab this out. I'm sure this is probably obvious what it is. We're going to dump this out and put the cord in the water. Get my tablespoon of cord. Now, when we bring anything on the farm, it is quarantined away from the other animals. I don't like putting animals in with other animals when they have not been quarantined. That's pretty much asking for trouble because you don't know what other people do with their animals. These specific animals were bought out of a pet store, and so they have been touched and been with other animals that might possibly have been sick. And with these specific animals, which I'm sure you all probably already guessed what they are, with these specific animals, things can spread quickly. And so we do vaccinate our birds. We do worm our birds. We are not, like I said, we are not an all-natural farm. We went the all-natural way, and it's not proven to be effective on this farm. Maybe if we move into a less wet area, it might work out a little better for us. But we live in a really wet area, and wet areas are prone to more disease. And so hopefully one day we can go back to a more natural way and not have to medicate our birds or worm our birds. And we try to allow them to have an immune system. I mean, we don't medicate them all the time. They don't stay medicated, but we do preventatives for coccidiosis with all of our animals. Well, not all of them. We do it with the goats and the chickens, and we do worm them when they need it. And so we got that water done, and here's their little feeder, and we're gonna go ahead and pour their feed in. All right, I'm gonna flip it around. These birds are a little skittish, and this brooder is a little deep, but I got 4 Australorp hens. Here's their food that I just filled up. It's a mess in here. It needs clean. I'm gonna try to sweep it and clean it when I get done here. But we got 4 Australorp hens. When they come out, I'll pull the camera around. They're moving around some. You can see them a little bit better on this side. They're a little skittish and they're hard to reach back there. So we're gonna let them be. But here's the surprise. Alright guys, I've got quite a few chores that I still need to finish up. I've got to finish the rabbits and got to fill the waters and stuff like that, and grab the eggs. But I'm going to go ahead and let you all go here. It's probably been a pretty long video. I haven't even checked my time where I had to worm the goats and stuff. And so we'll just leave it at that. We'll leave it at a farm chore / informational goat worming video. We'll leave it right here. But I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I hope you all will come back next time. And like I said before, I am not a vet. And so everything is just per information that we have been taught. And so I'm not going to say this is the way to do it or this isn't the way to do it. This is just how we do it. This is what works for us. And so I appreciate y'all watching. I appreciate y'all hanging out. And I hope to see you on the next one. Say bye.
Bye.